Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's weather forecast, we have lots to unpack, so bear with me through this video. We have a big winter storm with blizzard conditions, an ice storm, and severe weather. And then in next week, another potent storm will be moving through with heavy rain and possibly a severe weather outbreak across the Great Plains. And then the long range weather forecast remains very active through the end of February and into early March, with a parade of storm systems. The countdown is still on. We're down to a full week now. We're down to 7 days until I reach my 1 year of being on YouTube, which is on March 1st of 2023. So if you want to show some love to the channel and hit the subscribe button, do so down below, and also hit the subscribe button to get all of my daily weather forecast updates each and every morning at 9 a.m. We are closing in on 23,000 subscribers. So thanks to all the new subscribers out there. I definitely appreciate it. Look at all the bright colors here on the current alerts map. We definitely have lots to talk about here. We have a blizzard warning up here into portions of eastern Dakotas, into South Dakota and North Dakota, also portions of Minnesota, and then back across Wyoming as well. Meanwhile, all these pink shaded colors, those are winter storm warnings where we are gearing up for significant snowfall. And the violet shaded colors across southern lower Michigan, southern Wisconsin, and eastern Iowa, that is ice storm warnings where we are gearing up for a major ice storm. And then some of those alerts with those winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings actually extend farther east into the Northeast as well. Meanwhile, we have high wind warnings and wind advisories across the southwestern United States, with red flag warnings down here as well into West Texas, the Texas Panhandle, and western Oklahoma. So looking at this system here and why we have such major impacts across most of the country is just look how big of the trough here is out to the west. It is such a big trough, and we have that southeast ridge still intact. So we have a thermal gradient, and that thermal gradient is noticed here. You have temperatures south of that jet stream into the 60s and 70s, even some 80s down here across the Gulf Coast. But on the other side of that thermal gradient, we actually have colder temperatures with below zero high temperatures later on today across the Dakotas into Montana and Wyoming. These areas will be single digits below zero for high temperatures. That shifts east with that cold front tomorrow on Thursday, February 23rd. We could be seeing record high temperatures down here across the Carolinas into Georgia and parts of the Gulf Coast states, with multiple areas reaching the middle 80s, if not closing in on 90 degrees for Thursday. But again, it's colder up to the north, and that's where that winter storm will reside going through late this week. But if you guys are with me on the video, don't forget to press that like button. It's the thumbs up button down below the video. It helps to get all of this weather information out to as many people as possible. So I definitely would appreciate if you would hit that like button down below. But this storm system has a lot, and I mean a lot, of upper level support here. We have a very strong trough out to the west, and this is going to dip down all the way across the Four Corners region and the central Great Plains, and this is going to have a lot of upper level support with the wind as well. These wind gusts down here across Arizona, New Mexico, and West Texas, and parts of the Colorado Rockies could be screaming in around 60, 70, even 80 miles per hour with the wind gusts going through Thursday morning. So definitely hold on to your hats down here across the desert southwest. But the system is also going to be sending lots of moisture up across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and portions of the Great Lakes going through the end of this week. So this system is going to be dropping lots of precipitation. You do see a noon time frame today, that winter storm up here to the north with some heavy snow up across the northern Rockies, the northern plains, the upper Midwest, stretching over here towards the Great Lakes in the Northeast. In between, we got that sleet and freezing rain with that major ice storm setting up, and then that severe weather side with the heavy rainfall farther to the south across the Illinois and Missouri river valleys here. That will continue to push east as we get through this evening. All that heavy snow will still be up to the north with 1, 2, even 3 inch per hour snowfall rates not out of the question. That ice storm continues across places like Detroit, getting over toward Toronto through this evening. Then all snow for the upper Midwest across the Great Lakes and parts of interior New England going through the morning hours at 6 a.m. on Thursday tomorrow. And then by the time we get into tomorrow evening at 6 p.m., we'll start to say goodbye to this winter storm with just some remnant snow showers up here across Ontario and Quebec, Canada through that time frame. So now looking at the total snowfall accumulation from now through late this week on Friday the 24th, it's going to be pretty significant up here across the northern plains, the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and then stretching over to the northeast. These areas up to the north could be seeing over a foot of snow and actually up to near 2 feet in some spots here across the northern plains. This stretches across portions of South Dakota, getting through southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin, including the Twin Cities area and La Crosse, Wisconsin. We could be talking about 12 to 24 inches of snow up across these areas. Then stretching eastward from there, places like Eau Claire, Wisconsin, getting over towards Green Bay, Wisconsin, and then northern portions of Michigan. We could be easily seeing 12 to 18 inches of snow here, and then stretching farther east from there into the northeast, a good 6 to 12 inches of snow across upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then getting into central and western portions of Maine, getting through late this week. And now looking at the ice storm threat, though, this is going to be a major story across the southern Great Lakes and parts of the northern Ohio Valley. And how this works is you have the snowflakes flying down from the cloud itself, but we have a deep warm layer in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, so that snow that comes out of the cloud and drops toward the surface actually will melt back to liquid raindrops, and then as it approaches the shallow cold layer near the surface or at the surface, it actually gets super cooled, and the cold air makes it refreeze on contact, thus naming it freezing rain. So that is the concern going through the next couple of days here through Wednesday and Thursday, today and tomorrow. You do see a narrow stripe of a quarter to up to 3/4 of an inch of ice from portions of northern, northeastern Iowa through southern Wisconsin, far northern Illinois, and that stretches eastward towards places like Kalamazoo, Michigan, Detroit, Lansing, Michigan. That is something we'll watch going through that Thursday morning time frame. And then some of that icing could actually stretch over into northern Pennsylvania and southern New York State going through Thursday afternoon. So that will be something that we'll have to keep an eye on going through late this week. But all in all, this will be a high impact event. A lot of these areas will have moderate to major, if not even extreme impacts for the snowfall and even the ice potential up to the north through late this week on Friday. So definitely take it slow out there. But the warm side of the system is there as well to the south. We have that marginal to slight risk for severe weather. This slight risk extends from southwestern Illinois, getting toward the St. Louis region, down through portions of southern Missouri, so including the Jefferson City area, Springfield, Missouri, back toward Joplin, and then farther south and westward from there towards Tulsa and the Oklahoma City metro area, going through that daytime today. And you do see this is going to be a quick moving system. We already have that squall line moving across the Missouri Valley and towards the Little Rock area at noon time frame today. That will quickly lift its way east-northeastward to the western Ohio Valley and the western Tennessee Valley, getting through mid-afternoon around 4 o'clock. So this will be a quick hitting severe weather potential today, but it will be producing some heavy rainfall. If you don't see severe weather, you're going to see heavy rainfall, especially up into central Illinois, northern Indiana, here into portions of central Ohio. Some of these areas could see well over an inch of rain the next 24 hours. And that is why we do have a marginal to slight risk for flash flooding here. This does include the Chicago metro area, Gary, South Bend, Indiana, and then down through the Peoria region and Bloomington Normal down here into central Illinois, getting through the day today. So definitely want to be mindful of that going through the next 24 hours. But by late this week, we kick that storm off to the east, and then we look back to the west. Our attention turns to the west again. We have another storm system diving down across California into the desert southwest. This will be bringing some very heavy rainfall on Friday across coastal California and very heavy snow across the Sierra Nevadas as well. That even continues across places like Los Angeles and also Las Vegas as we get into this weekend on Saturday the 25th. Maybe a little bit of a stationary boundary of some moisture here down across the southern plains, the Tennessee Valley, and the Carolinas, with some moderate rainfall here at times getting through the day on Saturday. So looking at the total rainfall accumulation with the second system moving in this weekend, very heavy rain down here into southern and southwestern California and towards the Los Angeles region and on westward. towards San Francisco, we could be talking about easily a half a foot of rain across some of these areas. Definitely very concerning for flash flooding there. But with that stationary boundary farther east here across portions of the Arklatex, getting into the Tennessee Valley and the Carolinas, maybe just a quarter to half an inch of rain across some of these areas like Nashville, getting over toward Asheville, North Carolina, and then Little Rock here as we get into that Friday, Saturday time frame. But looking back again across California, we have to be concerned Friday into Saturday for that slight risk for flash flooding potential, especially up there towards San Francisco and Los Angeles as well. So that will be something to watch as we get towards this weekend. But this also will be producing some very heavy higher elevation and mountain snow out here to the west from Friday through Sunday here this weekend. A couple of feet can be expected of snow across those higher elevations here toward the Truckee area in California, getting all the way up through portions here of the higher elevations of the Sierra Nevada mountains. So definitely be mindful of that. A slow go of travel, especially as you go up in higher elevation. And that trough will be moving eastward as well out of California on Saturday, the 25th. And this will start to eject across the portions of the Four Corners region into the central and southern plains on Sunday. And this could be causing trouble not before it reaches portions of the Ohio Valley as we get into early next week on Monday, February 27th. That will be bringing some heavier rainfall up across those areas. So why I say this could be causing trouble is that Sunday, the 26th, the Storm Prediction Center on their Day 5 severe weather outlook has already highlighted an enhanced risk, a 30% shading here for severe weather, possibly a severe weather outbreak across southern Kansas, western Oklahoma, getting into the Texas Panhandle here. This does include near Wichita Falls, portions here of El Reno, Oklahoma, back toward Woodward, Oklahoma as well, and southern portions of Kansas. And that actually stretches up in towards the Kansas-Nebraska border with that slight risk on Sunday. And the setup for this goes like this. We have very warm temperatures advecting northward across the southern central plains on Sunday with temperatures in the 60s and 70s out here. Also, we're seeing dew points rising into the 50s and 60s. So we have plenty of warmth, plenty of moisture. So now we look at the kinematics with this, and we have a fairly potent mid-level jet rounding the base of the trough here as it pushes east and starts to eject across the middle of the country. We definitely have a lot of that, and also a low-level jet as well, supporting that tornado potential. So all three modes of severe weather will be on the table as we get into that Sunday time frame. And you can see by 6 o'clock, late afternoon, early evening on Sunday, we have to watch out for some erupting supercells from Kansas down through western Oklahoma and towards northwestern Texas and the Texas Panhandle here as that cold front swings eastward. This will be all modes of severe weather. I wouldn't be surprised if we see even a hatched area for tornadoes getting closer to this event as we see that stronger low-level jet move in towards this region for a couple of stronger tornadoes. Then this will turn more into a heavy rain and damaging wind threat as we get into the overnight hours now, getting towards 12 a.m. on Monday as it pushes into eastern Kansas, eastern Oklahoma, and toward the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We may have to watch out for some damaging winds and heavy rainfall there. And then that continues to push eastward with more of that strong wind and heavy rainfall threat getting into Monday morning here at 6 a.m. across the Missouri Valley and the Arklatex regions. And it's all heavy rain across portions of the upper Midwest and western Great Lakes with this getting into Monday morning. But by the time we get into Monday evening, all that heavy snow with this system is going to be up across southeastern Canada. A lot of the cold air will be staying up to the north, so this will mainly be a rainfall event across the Ohio Valley down through the southeast. We might have to watch for some icing at times across southeastern Canada into interior New England briefly, but as this continues to push to the north and east, we're seeing more of that cold air staying up in Canada and more of the warm air pushing northward. So it's mainly going to be a rain event for a lot of us across the country going into early next week. And so much so that look at these total rainfall accumulations from Sunday into Monday. The blue shaded colors here from Iowa, western Illinois, back through northern Missouri, eastern Kansas, and then getting down toward the Oklahoma City metro area and central Oklahoma. We could easily be seeing over an inch of rainfall in these blue shaded colors. And then as we get into Monday and Tuesday, early next week to end the month here of February, a lot of these blue shaded colors across the central Great Lakes down through the Ohio Valley and the Illinois Valley here will be over an inch and possibly some areas approaching 2 inches of rainfall accumulation getting into early next week in some of these areas, places like Detroit, Chicago, Indianapolis, and Cleveland getting in towards early next week. But to the north, we still have the snowfall, but it'll be well up to the north into southeastern Canada on Monday into Tuesday. A few inches of snow as possible here. Just a quick glance at this, probably more of a 2 to 4 inch type of snowfall event up here into central and eastern portions of Ontario and western Quebec. Maybe a couple of inches here into Maine, upstate New York, getting into northern Vermont, New Hampshire, getting into early next week. But again, not a big deal of a snowmaker for much of the United States. But looking at the long-range weather forecast for that first full week in March now, March 1st through the 7th, that southeast ridge, again, is going to remain intact. We're going to see a lot of warmer air across the southeast, as we've seen all winter long. And more troughs digging down across the Pacific Northwest, diving down towards the Four Corners region, getting into the first week in March. And that will promise us lots of above normal precipitation with more heavy rain and snow across California, much of the West, and that will move over top of the ridge across portions of the Northern Plains, the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast, getting through that first week in March. So to recap my weather forecast for you guys, a big winter storm is moving through this week with blizzard conditions, a major ice storm, and severe weather. Then another potent storm next week will bring heavy rainfall and possibly a severe weather outbreak across the central and southern Great Plains. And then the long-range weather forecast remains very active with a parade of storms moving into early March across the country. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I know there's a lot to work through here, a lot of forecasting going through the next couple of days and couple of weeks through these videos. So I definitely appreciate you guys sticking with me here. Remember to like the video down below, give me a thumbs up, leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great Wednesday, everybody, a great rest of your week, and I will see you all in the next video.